Good morning, students. So today we are starting our next chapter, that is evolution. It's our third chapter of the session. Now, what is this evolution? So this evolution, it is the process of changes. Evolution is the process of changes which occurs in every form of life, generation after generation, which occurs in every form of life, generation after generation, and these changes, they results in formation of a completely new and different species. So evolution is the process of changes which occurs generation after generation, and this evolution, it results in formation of a completely new and a different species. Now, during this evolution process, the universe was formed near about 20 billion years ago. The universe was formed near about 20 billion years ago, and in this universe, the earth was formed near about 4.5 billion years ago, and on earth the first life form was formed near about 4 billion years ago. So during evolution, the universe was formed near about 20 billion years ago. On universe, the earth is formed near about 4.5 billion years ago, and on earth the first life form was formed near about 4 billion years ago. Now, when the first life form formed on the earth's surface, at that time, what are the conditions on earth's surface? So at that time, the conditions of earth's surface was reducing time. So during the formation of first life form, the conditions on earth were reducing type. Reducing type means at that time the temperature was very high. Temperature was very high. Second thing, the lighter substances, they were present in gaseous form. Lighter substances were present in gaseous form, such as the carbon and hydrogen were present in the form of methane gas, CH4. The nitrogen is present in the form of ammonia, that is NH3. Helium is present in the form of gas. Hydrogen is again present in the form of H2 gas, that is hydrogen gas. And water, it is present in the form of vapors, that is H2O vapors. Further, the heavier substances such as iron and nickel, they form the core of earth. Form the core of earth. So lighter substances were present in gaseous form such as methane, ammonium, helium and hydrogen. The water is present in the form of water vapors, and heavier substances such as iron and nickel, they form the core of earth. Further, at that time, ultraviolet radiations were present, and these ultraviolet radiations, they acted as source of energy. Now, these ultraviolet radiations, they acted as source of energy, and they favored photochemical reactions. Further, at that time, no molecular oxygen was present. No molecular oxygen. That means the O2 is absent. So all these conditions, they makes the reducing type conditions. So when life began on the earth's surface, the first life form when formed, the conditions on earth's surface are reducing type. Now At the time when the first life form arose or came on Earth's surface, about that the several theories have been given. These theories are known as theories of origin of life. And in this theories of origin of life, the first theory was special creation theory. This special creation theory states that life have been formed by God in heaven and created life forms were placed on earth by God. So special creation theory states that life have been formed by God on heaven and the created life forms were then placed on the earth. And there were two proofs for this theory. The one is in Bible, the chapter Genesis, the Genesis chapter of Bible. It states that the God created Adam and Eve as first and male and female organism. And according to Hindu mythology, it was said that Brahma is the creator of life. Brahma is the creator of life. And Brahma created different forms of life, and the first male and female created by Brahma are Manu and Shraddha. So, according to Hindu mythology, Brahma is the creator of life. He created the different forms of life, and Brahma created Manu and Shraddha as first male and female on the earth's surface. But this theory was disproved scientifically. Now the second theory about origin of life is theory of abiogenesis, and this theory of abiogenesis, it was given by von Helmont. So von Helmont, in theory of abiogenesis, he told that life was first originated from mud of river Nile. That means the first life originated from non-living substances. That is the abiogenesis. Abiogenesis is non-living. So this abiogenesis theory, it was given by von Helmont, and he stated that life was first originated from the mud of river Nile. That means the life first originated from non-living substances. But this theory was disproved by F. Reddy, and he carried out an experiment. In that experiment, he disproved this theory, and then he gave another theory, that is biogenesis. So now we will discuss the theory of biogenesis. Now the next theory is biogenesis theory, or the theory of biogenesis. This theory of biogenesis was given by F. Reddy, and he told that, or this theory states that life is originated from earlier existing lives or organisms. So F. Reddy told that the new life forms came from the earlier existing life. And in proof of this theory, there were three experiments. The one is carried out by F. Reddy, the one is carried out by Spolzany, and the third one is carried out by Louis Pasteur. So first we will study the experimental proof of biogenesis that was given by F. Reddy. So the experimental proof in support of this biogenesis that was given by F. Reddy, what he have done, the F. Reddy took a piece of flesh or meat. He took a piece of flesh or meat and he cooked it. after cooking it, he placed, even if we cannot say a piece, we can say piece of flesh or meat. So he took a piece of flesh or meat, he cooked them and placed them in three different jars. Now, it was our first jar that was containing a piece of meat in it. This is the piece of meat. And the first jar, it was sealed with the help of parchment membrane. It was sealed with the help of parchment membrane. Now, again, he took the second jar and he again placed a piece of meat in it. This is the piece of meat, and he sealed this with the help of muslin cloth. It was sealed with the help of muslin cloth. Now, he took a third jar and placed a piece of meat in it, and this jar, that is third jar, it was kept open. It was not covered by any cloth or any covering. So after some time, what he found? He found certain housefly larvae here. He found some larvae inside the third jar which is kept open. So what he concluded by this experiment, that the housefly visited all these three jars, but because the third jar is open, so he entered in the third jar and it may have laid its egg inside the jar. But the housefly was not able to lay eggs in rest of the two jars because they are sealed with the help of muslin cloth or parchment membrane. That means the life, that is larva, they came from the earlier existing organism or the existing organism. So it proves that the new life form comes from the existing organism. Now, a similar type of experimental proof was also given by Spalzani for the theory of biogenesis. He also took three jars, and in these three jars he placed nutrient broth. This nutrient broth, it is a type of nutrient solution or nutrient medium on which the organism can grow. So he also sealed the two jars and he kept open the third jar. So in third jar, which is kept open, he found certain spores in it. So he also told that these spores, they came from living organism, and in these two jars the spores were not produced or not found because these two jars are closed. Now, the third experimental proof for the theory of biogenesis was given by Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur took a round bottom flask. He took a round bottom flask, and in this round bottom flask he took a mixture of some sugar and yeast, and he heated this flask. Now, during heating, this neck of this flask took the shape of swan-like neck. So his experiment is also known as swan neck experiment. Now, after heating, he sealed the mouth of this flask. The time up to which the flask was sealed, nothing was found in the mixture of sugar and yeast. After some time, what he done? He broke the flask from here. That is, he removed the seal of the flask. And after removal of flask, he found several organisms present in this mixture of sugar and yeast. So he told that the time up to which the flask was sealed, no organism entered in the flask, so no life form was present. But when the flask was unsealed or the seal was broken, at that time the organism entered in the flask, and they may have they have lived their eggs or larvae inside this flask or inside this solution of sugar and yeast. So he also told that the life originated from the living organism, that is earlier existing life forms. Now the next theory of origin of life is panspermic theory or extraterrestrial theory. Now this theory states that life originated in space. Life originated in space in the form of spores. In the form of spores, and these spores reached on Earth's surface and they germinated. So life formed first in space in the form of spores, and these spores they reached on Earth's surface and then they germinated. So this panspermic theory or extraterrestrial means other than Earth's surface. So life first originated on space in the form of spores. Spores reached on the Earth's surface and they germinated and resulted in the formation of an organism. Now the next theory of origin of life is chemogenetic theory or modern theory of life, and this theory was divided into three parts. The first one is chemogeny. This chemogeny is the chemical evolution. It denotes the chemical evolution. The second is biogeny, and this biogeny denotes the formation of biomolecules. And the third is cogenogeny, which indicates the formation and evolution of first life form. So this theory of chemogenesis, it was divided into three parts, that is chemogeny, that is the chemical evolution which includes the chemical reactions. Biogeny, it is the formation of biomolecules from the chemicals or chemical substances, and the cogenogeny, which results in the formation of first life form from the complex biomolecules. So we studied this theory in three different parts. Now this chemogeny, it was given by O'Brien and Haldane, and they told that at the time of origin of life the temperature was very high. It is near about 800 degrees Celsius. At that time no molecular oxygen was present, and the lighter elements were present in gaseous form. So all these conditions, they make the atmospheric conditions the reducing time. So they told that at that time, because the temperature was very high, it is near about 800 degrees Celsius, so the torrential rains may have occurred. These torrential rains are the rains for the very longer time. So these torrential rains, they have resulted in the formation of broth. And this broth and torrential rains, they together resulted in decrease in temperature. Now, when the temperature come to a suitable level, at that time, the certain simple chemicals which are present on Earth's surface, they reacted and they resulted in the formation of simple biomolecules or simple chemical compounds. Now, these simple chemical compounds, they also reacted with each other and resulted in the formation of simple biomolecules. These biomolecules may include the sugar, the aldehyde, the purines, the pyrimidines, the fatty acids, and all that. Now, these simple biomolecules then they reacted and resulted in the formation of complex biomolecules which can replicate their own, such as DNA, formation of DNA. This DNA then formed the RNA, and then RNA formed the proteins. That means the process of central dogma may have occurred, and due to this central dogma, the substances like complex biomolecules such as DNA, RNA, and proteins are formed. Now, this DNA, this RNA, and proteins, they then aggregated to form first life form. So, in chemogeny, we study that about all these temperature, torrential rains, growth, formation, and the reaction of simple chemical compounds to form the simple biomolecules. When the simple biomolecules are formed, that is the biogeny. That is the second part of this theory, that is biogeny. And when these simple chemical compounds reacted to form the complex biomolecules, that is DNA, RNA, proteins, that is also a part of biogeny. And now the third part of this theory, that is the cogenogeny. During cogenogeny, these complex biomolecules such as DNA, RNA, and proteins, they aggregated to form the first life form. And the first life form was in the form of protobionts. So the first life form was in the form of protobionts. These protobionts, they do not show any type of reproduction, and these protobionts then resulted in the formation of eubionts. These eubionts are co-adservative like organisms which reproduce through budding process. So the first life form, due to the aggregation of proteins, DNA, and RNA that resulted on the Earth's surface, were in the form of protobionts. These protobionts resulted in the formation of eubionts. Eubionts are like co-adservative organisms, and this co-adservative, this shows the reproduction through budding process. Now, these co-adservative and eubionts, they are heterotrophs, heterochemotrophs. They are heterochemotrophs. That means they can make their own food with the help of chemical energy. And when they started using the chemical energy, later on and slowly they started the use of oxygen and light. So they became the autotrophs, and in this way the life started on the Earth's surface. Now, an experimental proof was given in support of theory of the modern theory of life or chemogenesis, and this experimental proof was given by Urey and Miller, and that's why it is known as Urey-Miller's experiment. Urey and Miller created the same type of atmospheric conditions which were present at the time when the first life originated on the Earth's surface. So in their experiment, they took a round bottom flask, and this round bottom flask, the two electrodes were supplied, that is positive electrode and negative electrode. And in this round bottom flask, they took the gases, that is methane, ammonia, and hydrogen, in the ratio of 2:1. This round bottom flask, it was connected to a long tube which contains a condenser, and it also have an outlet. Now this tube is again connected to a heater, and this heater is connected to the round bottom flask. Now during this process or during this experiment, when electricity is applied in these electrodes, they resulted in sparkling, and this sparking is a substitution for the lightning and UV rays which were present at the time when the first life formed on the Earth's surface. So this sparking, it resulted in increased temperature of this flask of near about 100 degrees Celsius. So due to this sparking between the electrodes, when the electricity is applied, the temperature of the flask was increased to 100 degrees Celsius, and after that these chemicals or these gases, they starts reacting. Now what are the chemicals formed, or whatever the chemical substances formed in this flask, they were taken out through this pipe and they were passed through this condenser. Through this condenser, the cold water is made to run, and this resulted in condensing of that chemicals which formed in this side flask. And then this solution which is formed after its cooling and condensing, it is taken out from through an outlet pipe in the form of a sample, and rest of the solution is again passed to a heater. In heater, this sample which got condensed, it was again heated and converted into the vapors, and these vapors were again transferred to this round bottom flask. Now this experiment was carried out for 7 days continuously, and after that Urey and Miller found that certain simple chemical substances are formed during this reaction, and these substances includes the aspartic acid. The aspartic acid was formed, the glutamic acid was formed, the substances like purines, pyrimidines, aldehydes, these all are formed during these 7 days and during this experiment. And all these substances, they are present in living beings. That means these substances then reacted to form the complex chemical substances, and complex chemical substances resulted in the formation of complex biomolecules which form the first life form. So this experiment shows that life came through the chemogenesis, through chemogenesis, then biogenesis, and then cogenogeny. So it is an experimental proof that was given by Urey and Miller in proof of chemogenesis. Thank you, students.